Hey all, welcome back to Gadfly, the podcast about third parties, fringe candidates, and just generally weird American electoral history. I'm Dusty Wilson.
I'm Una O'Leary.
And, Una, this is it is Christmas time for us here at Gadfly, because I don't know if you heard the news. Politics has birthed us a new child in the third party world. We have a new third party in America, and it's getting press. It's going around the big chatty shows. It's
like a real third party or like a
real third. We'll get there. We'll figure it out.
Okay, all right.
I think that's going to be part of the debate.
A branch along the tree of life that is third parties.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to look at it. We could look at this. I think the Nonpartisan League might be one of the better comparisons for this party, looking at how it's going right now. But it's kind of a wait and see. So we're going to figure this out because I'll just say this. 2021's actually been an interesting year for third parties because one of the big things is, to me, it's feeling a lot like 1910, mainly because we are getting this huge surge of third parties out of nowhere. I mean, there were rumors going around for a while that the Patriot Party was going to be a thing, and some super alt-right people are trying really hard to make that happen. There's also the People's Party, which was founded by a bunch of Bernie bro cast-offs who, we'll talk about them later in the future. I'm looking into a lot of stuff, but I'll just say for now, I wouldn't donate to them just yet.
Yeah, don't do it.
There's a number of regional parties that have been popping up. There's the California National Party, which claims that they are acting very much in the same way as the Scottish National Party, where they would like to secede, but if they cannot, then they're focusing more on California needs and progressive politics.
Yeah, maybe just do that.
Yeah, which seems to be what they're doing so far. They're trying really hard to just build a coalition first, and then from there, I guess we'll see what happens.
That's good. No, I support this. That positive reinforcement, California nationalists.
Yeah, I'm genuinely interested to see what they do. And then probably one of the newer folks to add to regional politics is the New England Independence Party, I believe it is what it's called. Let me hop onto Twitter to make sure I'm not maligning this party. Yeah, it's
baking powder.
It's the New England Party, and their whole thing is New England independence. And they have very strongly made the point that they are pro-New England, anti-New York, that they are willing to fight, I think, for at least part of Lake Champlain. I don't know if they're serious yet, because there have been some trolly comments that they have made that makes it kind of seem like they're not real. But if they're real, they might be run by an asshole.
Oh, they're definitely run by an asshole. 2-1. These are just diehard Pats fans who can't get over the fact that
Brady's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's intriguing. They made a logo, so I can't completely say it's a joke just yet. They're already saying they're not really planning on running in the midterms just yet, or at least in any sort of federal capacity. Supposedly, they'll be running some local candidates. So if that ends up happening, yeah, I'll take it seriously. And as soon as they make a website, I'm going to go there and check it out. Because who knows? They might just be, as the British on Ted Lasso say, taking the piss out of some folks. But yeah, it's very intriguing. So there's a bit of a golden age of third-party politics just kind of simmering. It's at a low boil. It's like when you're making potatoes for the first time and you're like, I think I'm doing this okay. The boil's going good. I think I'm going to have mashed potatoes here in a bit. I'll get to that butter part later and we'll see where the gods will.
Oh, but then you take them off and then the potatoes aren't actually cooked all the way through and they're kind of tough on the inside.
Or you leave them a little too long, but they're like, it's potatoes. It'll be fine. I'll go play a little Mario Kart or something. And then you come back, the oven's on fire because apparently potato water's flammable. Who knew? I just figured if I poured enough heavy cream in it, it would be fine. Look, as a pair of Irish descendants, I think it is more than fair we use potato analogies to describe third-party politics. It's the only way.
Yep.
But yeah, so there's a lot kind of going on here in America, and I'm very excited to see who sticks, who doesn't, who has really cool plans, and who's running kind of a blatant grift. But then we have this new one. It's kind of doing things that a lot of these other parties haven't done yet. It's made a huge splash in the news. It's actually kind of maintained its energy for a little more than a week. And it's headed up by someone that everyone in America knows. We're going to be talking about Andrew Yang.
Oh, no. God.
And the Forward Party.
Damn it.
Radical centrism, motherfucker. Look, we have to. We absolutely goddamn have to, because as much as I hate to say it, this might actually be the closest chance that we have to, as their Twitter says, ending the duopoly.
Then I don't want it.
No, we need it.
No, we don't. Not if it's Andrew fucking Yang. Not if it's the Yang Gang.
Look,
give me
Yang Gang.
$1,000 and get the fuck out.
Yang Gang's on the ropes, man. It's been a rough couple of years for Yang Gang, but all right. So here's the thing. For one, I actually didn't know a ton about Andrew Yang's past. All I knew is that he was an entrepreneur. He did some business stuff, and then he decided to hop into politics. It was a long shot, and he did way better than I think a lot of us would with the credentials that he had. But that being said, beyond that, I don't really know much about the dude. So when he announced that he was going to be starting the Forward Party, he was going to premiere it in his new book, also entitled Forward. Bold choice. And my entire plan was like, all right, I'm going to buy this book on audiobook. I'm going to skip to the last chapter. I'm going to listen through it. I'm going to request a refund. But that also assumes that I'm still a smart man when it comes to that sort of shit. And not, what's the word? I'm a lazy millennial.
Oh no, you're
I think-
reminding me that I didn't cancel my Apple Plus subscription.
Yeah, I've been meaning to cancel Hulu for like a year and a half, and I still got that
Oh.
shit. But you know what? Gravity Falls is on there, so it's not a complete loss. But yeah,
Fine.
it's like I know me. I would have forgotten to have done that, or I'd get that Midwestern guilt where it's like I can't do this. I actually use the product. What am I, an asshole? But Andrew Yang, being the mensch that he is, instead of keeping everything in his book, the day the book came out, so did the Forward Party website. That included everything that was in the book. So I am $25 richer thanks to Andrew Yang making the honestly smart decision to premiere his book and his party website on the same day.
Still owes you $975. Yeah.
That's true. That is true. We'll get there though. Look, I might don't know much about universal basic income, but Una, Yang Gang.
I'm shutting down the episode now if this continues.
No. All right, so we got to talk about the Forward Party. This is what we signed up for without knowing. But I think before we do, I had to do a deep dive into Andrew Yang because I don't really know that much about the dude. And we're not going to do like a super deep dive because we don't really have the time. So this is going to be like a medium dive. This is going to be like a public pool deep end dive. It's going to be great. Can't have any kids drowning, so keep it.
Yeah, let's hit a warm pocket and then try to swim quickly away.
Exactly. So Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang was born in 1975 in Schenectady, New York. His parents had immigrated from Taiwan in 1960, and both of them ended up meeting at UC Berkeley during grad school. And to say that, I know, right? There's a lot of cute shit that happens in this story. I want to warn you ahead of time. There's a lot of empathy and a lot of cute shit that I don't think you're prepared for. So,
all right.
Yeah. So Yang's parents, they meet at UC Berkeley. They're both in grad school, proceed to fall in love, get married, and during that time also end up just academically kicking ass for the rest of their lives. So Andrew's father, Keishiung Yang, would attain a doctorate in physics from Berkeley, which he then parlayed into a very long career at IBM and then at GE. And during that time, Una, he created 69 patents.
Holy cow.
You know, this would typically be the part where I'd be like, here are all of his patents. But each and every one of them reads like a Gordian knot of science that I just cannot get through. They all sound very fucking impressive. And the very last patent that he made was in 2015 at the age of 75.
Oh.
Yeah, dude is smart as hell. And then there's his mother, Nancy. She ended up getting a master's degree in statistics, which is like the necromancy of math, and used that to build a very long career as a systems admin at SUNY Purchase. Her true passion, though, lay in art. And after she retired, she mostly focused on pastels and became a world-renowned artist, winning multiple awards in America, Spain, and Taiwan. But going back to Berkeley, the two would end up deciding after graduation to move to upstate New York to raise Andrew and his older brother, Lawrence. The family would move to Somers, New York, a town in the extremely affluent Westchester County. And much like his parents, Andrew proved to be a very smart kid. In a very interesting way, though. So his brother, Lawrence, often makes the point that Andrew is very smart, but he's one of those smart kids who doesn't like the work associated with being smart. It's just like, I already know the stuff. Why do I need to prove it? That sort of thing. Or like, I'm not going to say like we're school geniuses or anything, but I think we at certain situations have been like, I learned this 3 years ago. Why are you making me do a test on it now? I could just show you I know it now. Let's skip ahead.
Yep. Please don't make me write out the
or like
proof of this.
Yeah. So Andrew's kind of like one of those kids where he's just like, I already know this. Why do you make me keep proving it?
And the baby in the family. So
exactly. Yeah.
Keeping that in mind.
His elementary school would end up making a bit of a catch-22 of a decision, wherein they decided that Andrew was clearly very smart, so he should skip a grade. Now, the plus of doing that is, you end up getting to learn at your learning level. You get to learn stuff you don't already know. You really kind of get to challenge yourself and keep interested in your education. However, this is at a public school. And the catch-22 of that is skipping a grade is kind of like catnip to bullies.
Yeah. The other side of that penny is every other student in your new grade now.
100%. No one knows you, so you don't have any friends to have your back. If it's early on enough, you're definitely the smallest person in class.
For sure. God help you if you are also a late bloomer anyway.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, Andrew was kind of a shy kid. He was, it's kind of what happens when you're a bit of a nerdy kid. It's very hard to be like, hey guys, learning's fun, right? So he ended up being the focus of a shit ton of bullying throughout his elementary and middle school time. And to make things even worse, Somers, New York doesn't exactly have a very big Asian American population.
Yeah, I was waiting for that to be commented on too. Yeah.
And bullies like to diversify their cruelty.
Yeah.
And so Andrew was subject to an extensive amount of racism directed his way. So dude had just a really, really rough upbringing. But he would end up going to what he described as nerd camp for a number of years once he got into middle school. Like for 5 years, every summer he'd go to this nerd camp that was run by a local university and have the time of his life. And it's here that a friend of his at nerd camp, in the middle between D&D games, which I gotta admit, dude loves himself some D&D.
Oh.
So in the middle of nerd camp, this kid's just like, hey, you should go to my school.
Mhm.
And Andrew's like, well, what school is that? And the kid says, oh, Phillips Exeter.
Oh my God, come on.
So in the middle of 10th grade, Andrew applies to go to Phillips Exeter Academy and he gets accepted. Now, for those of you who don't know what Exeter is, it's pretty much the best high school in America, quote unquote.
It's peak British style prep school. Like it, and it's just like the elite and wealthy go there to get a C and then move on to Harvard. It's like, or Oxford. It's just insane.
Yeah, I was reading through the list of colleges where their most recent class went to, and there's not a single one below like second level Ivy.
Right.
You know, I saw Penn on there and I'm like, wow, I bet that kid got so much shit for having to go to Penn, a school that kicks all of the asses, I think, of everywhere we've gone.
Right. Or that moment where you remember that Cornell is also a state school and then your classmates remind you because it's that kind of world.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or at least like that is the history of it.
Yeah. Good job going to Ivy State.
Right. You're going to be a hotelier now?
What are you going to do? Go to Dartmouth and be a serial killer? Anyway, I have Ivy jokes for days. It has never been to any, but I have so many inaccurate opinions. Anyway, so Andrew ends up getting into Exeter. And one of the interesting things with Exeter is there are a lot of interesting things I think they do to ensure that it's not just legacy dickwads getting in. So one of the things that they do is that during the submission, you have to hit a certain test score and a certain number of requirements beforehand. But also they don't ask how much money you have. So to go to Exeter, the yearly tuition as of right now is $55,000 a year. But if your family makes less than $75,000 a year, you get in for free the entire time you're there.
Oh, sure, because I bet they have enough of an endowment that they can be needs blind.
Oh, 100%. Just give you an idea of the sort of people who have graduated from Exeter. Franklin Pierce, former president of America and complete drunk. Roxanne Gay graduated from there.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating.
And on the other end of that spectrum, Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really? Wow. That is also interesting.
Yeah.
God damn. Okay.
And as of now, Exeter's actually gotten a bit better at making sure that it's not just a bunch of side characters from a separate piece running around. It's actually a lot more diverse than it used to be. But when Andrew went there, surprise, surprise, he not a lot of non-white people attending.
Damn, yeah, still CW dream material.
Yeah. It should also be noted that when Andrew was at Exeter, and it doesn't seem to be that he fell prey to this at any point, but from 1950 until about 2010, Exeter had a bit of a child sexual assault problem.
Oh no, what?
So Exeter's a boarding school, which means the students live there throughout the entire school year. Some who live nearby go home, but the option is there to live at school during the entire time.
Right.
And a number of professors were like, you know what's great about this?
Oh.
I can just abuse my power as much as I goddamn want. And Exeter, at times when discovering that certain professors were doing this, especially after the university became coeducational in the 1970s, would have two separate files in the HR department.
The books?
Where one file lists all the shit they did, and the other file was to give to all the other boarding schools where these former professors were applying.
They went full Catholic Church on this?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Ah, yikes.
Yeah, man, fucking take your horrible shit to Choate. The only other boarding school I can name.
I know.
So in 2018, they came out with a huge report admitting to all of this. So, ideally things are in the right direction, but
ideally,
yeah, it's extremely harrowing and not great. That being said, Andrew's at Exeter. He ends up joining the school debate team, and that debate team went to the World Championships in London.
Okay, Andrew.
Yeah, so Andrew's doing at least marginally better at Exeter. He's getting good grades. He's debating his ass off. He's hopefully getting bullied less, or at least maybe for different reasons, so it feels new.
Yeah.
No, but he'd ended up graduating there in 1992 and immediately went into Brown University. And while there, he earned a double major in economics and political science. And then immediately went to Columbia University, getting that fancy double Ivy, where he got his law degree.
After 5, you get a free Subway sandwich.
That is, you get to punch one person from Yale. So in 1999, Andrew was all set to take the world of law by storm. And this is mainly because he scored a job at Davis Polk and Wardell in New York City. Now, this is a law firm that is world-renowned for taking on cases involving rich and elite clientele. From what I read, it's called a white shoe law firm. And if you're an aspiring politician, this is one hell of a place to end up. Former employees include 3 congressmen, 2 senators, and a whole bunch of federal judges appointed by various presidents.
So fellow alumni from Phillips Exeter and Brown and Columbia.
Yeah,
He knew all these people. This is great. I love this for him.
Yeah, and not not only that, dude was set to make $150,000 a year right out of college, which is good for a lower middle class living in New York City, I'm sure.
From what I've been told. And what year are we talking?
1999.
Oh my God. Like that could actually like be stretched out
Yeah.
and like saved
Yeah.
and put into fancy places where it may do more money.
Yeah. And that's like starting pay at one of the wealthiest law firms in the world. So he essentially has the perfect start for someone in 1999. And Andrew would refer to this job as, quote, the worst 5 months of my life. It was like a pie eating contest. And if you won, your prize was more pie.
Yeah, totally.
So many folks who knew Andrew growing up would note this as the huge turning point for his life. His mother noted that everything Andrew did, from academics to employment, he had done to impress his parents. There was one quote, apparently, when he was younger, where he said to his mother, "The only reason I get these A's is because you want them."
That's, and then she took him to a child psychiatrist, right?
Yeah, it's, Nancy Yang's an interesting person because there are definitely so many points where she's a really decent mother in a lot of regards, at least from the few quotes that I've seen, where she realizes that being overbearing is really not the way to get Andrew to do anything. Apparently, when he was 15, Andrew decided, I want an earring. I'm getting an earring and I'm going to wear it. And she was like, I hated it. It was so bad. But I knew if I told him I hated it, he'd still have it to this day. So I just waited it out. And at the age of 17, he took it out and never put it back in again.
Nancy, you're onto it. You got it.
Yeah. I mean, his parents seem legit very wonderful and super decent. I think that explains a lot of his better qualities, if I may say so. So after all that hard work to please his parents, he found himself more miserable than he had ever been. He was working 80-hour weeks, reviewing documents and writing summaries, essentially in this tiny office with one other dude, just running to the printer as the only exercise he gets all day.
Oof.
Andrew would call the work, quote, purposeless and empty. I was looking out at New York and thinking, wow, is this why my parents came to this country? And to make matters even worse, his parents had actually taken out a second mortgage to help him pay for law school. So at this time, his office mate, a dude by the name of Jonathan Phillips, they were both bouncing ideas off each other because they were equally miserable in the same room during times which I'm sure their bosses weren't in the office, but they were just constantly trying to think of ways to get the fuck out of the situation that they were in.
This sounds familiar. Go on.
And they both decided to just quit and create their own business.
Ooh, oh, nice.
Andrew actually has this moment where I think he's at Bloomingdale's. He's either at Bloomingdale's or Macy's or some like New York City fancy cloth store. And he's looking at all these cashmere scarves for Christmas. And he's walking them to the counter and he was like, this isn't making me happy. I have all this money. I can do this. I can buy shit for my parents and I'm fucking miserable. This should be making me happy to be able to give them this stuff. And so, yeah, he's done with it. So it's the year 2000. And they're starting a company. Una, where is this company going to be?
Online with pets.com.
Your fucking ass, it's an internet startup.
Yes.
Pew, pew, pew. They're going to call their new company Star Giving. And the general idea was they were going to reach out to celebrities who have various charities and place all their charities on one website to give people the opportunity to donate to all these different causes. And in exchange for a donation, people would then enter into a contest to potentially win various prizes, such as going to a Lakers game with Magic Johnson or a private concert with one-hit wonder Edwin McCain, who, I'll be your crying shoulder.
Ah, yes.
Good old Edwin. And a chance to, quote, hang out with wrestler Diamond Dallas Page.
Oh, it's truly a different time.
Yeah. And I know this idea might sound familiar, and it's basically because it was an early version of Omaze. So
wait, what is Omaze?
So Omaze is a place where you can donate to various charities and enter into a contest to either hang out with Jon Stewart or to do other various celebrity-related things.
Oh, I only started hearing about Omaze because recently YouTube has decided that that's what the algorithm is needed for me. Mm-hmm. And it's like, this is your last chance to get in on this brand new house. And I'm just like, click, 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 start my video. God damn it. Yeah, you used to be free.
But yeah, and Omaze has, they've carved out a pretty good niche. People like winning fancy prizes or shit like that.
The name is unfortunate. The name sounds like an MLM.
Oh no, Omaze to me sounds like a shittier version of Pornhub. Just the way that it's spelled with the O at the beginning, it's just like, I know.
The O is formed by like a mouth in the...
Oh my God, yeah. It's like, I have to dig out an old laptop if I'm going to omaze.com.
Just get on the Xfinity Wi-Fi.
Oh my God, yes.
You can grab from a neighbor.
Hop on a NordVPN, make their shit as secret as possible, and just watch a bot wreck this poor compact. But Una, it is the dot-com bubble. And like all other companies in 2002, Stargiving would absolutely fail. And this left
Stargave.
Oh, God damn it. And this left Andrew broke. He ended up having to move back in with friends. And he's still $110,000 in law school debt.
Ah, law school.
It's
God.
The things I know about law school now and just knowing how hard it is to find work if you're not in one of the top law schools, it's so infuriating. Anyway.
It's downright scary.
It really is. But lucky for Andrew, he pretty quickly found a new job with a company called MMF PMF systems, which they do patient data management for surgical centers. And I'm sure it makes everyone fall asleep during parties when you say what you do. So you just say you work in the medicine industry or whatever. And for 3 years, he would work there as the company's vice president. But you know what? Andrew's got an itch, and that itch is for success. So he would end up moving on to another company in 2005. And this is a company called Manhattan Prep. So Manhattan Prep was founded in 2000 by a former teacher by the name of Zeke Vanderhoek. Zeke made his name by creating the Equity Project Charter School in New York City. A school noted for high quality education, pretty much entirely because Zeke is paying all of his teachers at the school $125,000 a year. And Zeke kind of has this idea that if you pay people above average, you're going to get above average talent. And this won't make you lose money. It will actually, in fact, make you make more money.
Yeah, law of abundance.
Turns out he's right. He ends up getting the best teachers at his school. And in the process, he decides to hop into the test prep world. And with Manhattan Prep, it's a tutoring company that focused on teaching strategies for the GMAT, GRE, and LSAT, which, if I remember right, are mostly grad school tests. I took the GRE. It's, what's the word I'm looking for? Knives in the face hard.
It just sucks. It's just pointless and it sucks. I mean,
not great.
It's for general graduate school admission. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if whatever humanities bullshit you have decided to hang your hat on, that's what you need to take. And it's just like you write a mindless essay that somehow gets like tossed out the window of a moving van and given a 1 through 5 rating from there. And then, just like bullshit vocab and sentence structure. Oh, and then math that like you've never thought of since freshman year of college, because again, humanities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember having this moment where it's like, I'm trying to get into grad school for playwriting. Why are you asking me about this long forgotten math?
Why? It's like, I should know it, but can we all just admit that I don't and move on?
I wish I could tell you the difference between sine and cosine and tangent. Best of luck to me, I guess.
Yeah, I know a tangent is what I'm about to go on.
Boo, go to the
We're having to do this.
God damn it. I'm sick of your Borscht Belt bullshit. So very much like his charter school, Zeke decided he was also going to pay tutors as much as he could. And so if you were a tutor working at Manhattan Prep, you would make $100 an hour.
Oh, I'm going to need a minute.
Yeah, which, in $2,000, that is...
2,000 rent?
Mm-hmm. That is some grand fucking money. And once again, he started attracting the best talent available. And really one of the cool things it ended up doing is it created a bridge job in between graduating grad school and actually finding the job you want to do.
Right, because that's not immediate depending on what background you have in terms of schooling.
Absolutely. And it's especially during the time where getting a job out of college is starting to become a rarity. I think that started to happen around 2000, 2001. And
for sure.
Filling that need that early on, whether he intended to or not, is actually kind of brilliant. So in 2005, Zeke poached Andrew, and within a year, Andrew had been promoted to CEO of Manhattan Prep. And lucky for Andrew, dude would inherit a company that by this point was charging over $1,000 for a 9-week set of courses. But unlucky for him, he inherited the company right before the Great Recession hit. But lucky for him, the companies that were kind of hurt the worst by the Great Recession were finance companies, general businesses, law firms. And now that they're all downsizing, you suddenly have a much larger pool of tutors that you can pick up. And people who are very much in need of money before they find their next position. Both Andrew and Zeke had noted that no one wants to be a professional tutor their whole life, but being able to help people out through this is definitely one of the goals that they were looking for. So it's during this time Manhattan Prep went from being very good to extremely good.
Oh, sure. And then meanwhile, you're not at a loss of people because everyone else is trying to get into grad school to avoid the recession.
Oh, 100%.
They're signing up for those tutors.
Mm-hmm. And thanks to that, he was actually able to raise the cost of the 9-week courses to $1,490.
God damn.
It was a little over $1,000 if you just took the online course, but I'm trying to imagine an online course in 2005.
Oof.
Not great. Oof. Now, it should also be noticed that this is where a lot of the controversy around Andrew also shows up, because there's been a decent chunk of women who have come forward that have said that they were not treated equally in the workplace by Andrew at this time. One woman in particular, Kimberly Watkins, would testify before the New York City Commission on Gender Equality that Andrew had fired her because she got married. And according to her, during a meeting when she got called in, Andrew had essentially said, well, now that you're married, you're going to have less time to tutor now, right?
Oh, based on what, Andrew?
I don't know. It's such weird misogyny. Like, it's such a roundabout way to get to, I guess you're going to be cooking and babying too much, so we got to let you go. So there is that. And then there were other women who came forward to say that a number of employees who were women were paid less than men, and that if you brought up this disparity, you'd find yourself fired within a few weeks.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
And enough people have come forward with this where it's just like, this is sounding pretty real. And I mean, Kimberly Watkins isn't some crank. She is a legit activist. She's currently running for, I believe, New York City commissioner to go in front of the New York City Commission on Gender Equality and say all that stuff. They're not bringing in anyone with like no evidence. So I thoroughly believe that this all happened, and it's really disconcerting. But in 2009, still riding high while all these businesses are failing around him, Manhattan Prep would get a sudden cease and desist letter from their biggest competition, Kaplan Inc. Now, Kaplan was accusing them of using language that was similar to what they used in their own tutoring. So it was essentially just like a letter from a lawyer saying, knock it off or we'll eventually sue you. And Andrew not only removed the language from their testing, but immediately reached out to the executives of Kaplan, apologizing, but also saying, hey, maybe we should talk to each other a little more to make sure that this isn't happening across the board. And he parlayed this into bringing up the fact that, hey, maybe Manhattan Prep's for sale.
What?
Which Kaplan replied, how about $90 million?
Andrew!
Of which Andrew got $11 million. Now, following this, he would stay on for 2 years before he resigned and started his newest company. This would be a little something called Venture for America. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's because that's on purpose. Andrew has admitted that the name itself is to make you think, or at least subconsciously imagine, Teach for America, which is a program that takes graduates from Ivy League schools and places them in teaching jobs in various communities with substandard schools.
Right.
So Venture for America would work kind of the same, but the main goal is instead to increase the number of jobs available in struggling cities. The goal is to find recent college graduates and get them to begin a startup company in a city of need. For example, in 2012, the organization would focus on placing people in Cincinnati, Detroit, Las Vegas, New Orleans, and Providence, Rhode Island. After the 40 graduates began their startups, the hope is that this would encourage other companies to follow suit, and or for these startups to succeed so well that they suddenly have to start hiring more people from the city, increasing the number of jobs that are available and increasing the quality of pay within the city. And Andrew stated that by 2025, he believed that Venture for America would create 100,000 jobs. So between 2012 and 2017, Venture for America would place 680 entrepreneurs in 19 different cities. And in 2015, Barack Obama would name Andrew the presidential ambassador for global entrepreneurship. It's during this time Andrew is actually getting national praise across the board for Venture for America. He's doing TED Talks. Barack Obama's talking him up on a very regular basis. The dude is kind of becoming this beacon of hope for what he would call human-centric capitalism.
Yeah, Silicon Valley, but with a heart.
Exactly. And according to everyone in America, Andrew's doing all of this amazing work. And everyone would tell you this, except for Andrew, because behind the scenes, things were not going exactly to plan. So part of the problem is that he was having trouble getting seed money. And this was mainly because most of his investors that he knew were based in New York City. And if you went to the investors in New York City and said, hey, I'm starting a nonprofit for cancer research, so they'd be like, okay, fine, here's the money. But this is a bit of a too complicated sort of thing for them, where they're like, okay, so you're starting companies in other cities that aren't New York City, helping other people, but I can't really see the result of my money in person. It's a good idea, but I'm not going to give you money. And so instead, Andrew has to start to go out to other cities to try to find investors. And it's here that people start to notice that Andrew has a bit of a silver tongue when it comes to the ultra rich, that he's very good at helping them feel at ease, to feel comforted, to really kind of buy into these ideas. And so while he's in all these other cities, he's getting the mega rich of these struggling cities to get in on the ground level. Two of the big names that he would get would be the co-founder of Quicken Loans and owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Dan Gilbert, and the founder of Zappos.com, Tony Hsieh.
So Las Vegas and Detroit right there.
100. Well, and that's the thing, is that these people like Dan and Tony were not interested in their money just going anywhere. They said, you can have this money, but you have to place people in Detroit and Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And, it makes sense. Detroit's a struggling city. Vegas has their industry, and I'm sure there are ways that people would like to be able to branch out from that. But the problem with this is that you can't really guide your company if other rich people are telling you what to do. You can't really use data or analytics to try to figure out where to go next and where you're going to be the most successful.
Right. But I thought the point was that you would be seeding entrepreneurs in these specific cities and then reaching out to like the what's his face from Quicken Loans, who is like diehard, lives and breathes Detroit and kept Quicken Loans in Detroit. It's like, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's more one than the other. It's like we get the rich people first, they tell us where to go, and then we're going to place people.
Okay.
So in regards to Vegas, that would actually end up being a very tragic choice. So I don't know how much you know about Tony Hsieh, who I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but he ended up getting fired as CEO from Zappos.com predominantly due to his massive drug addiction.
Oh no.
He would end up dying at the age of 40 due to a fire breaking out in his house while he was under the influence.
Oh, this is terrible.
Bit of a tragic story, but this other side of it also kind of really shines a very poor light. So a Venture for America recruit by the name of Ovik Banerjee, he would end end up being sent out to Las Vegas and immediately starting butting heads with Tony on a very regular basis. And Tony does not seem like the sort of dude to give constructive criticism in a way that isn't intense and very one-sided. And it's alluded that Tony's constant interference clashed with the introverted personality of Ovik. And after months of allegedly hostile workplace conditions, Banerjee would end up committing suicide. VFA associates would note that Andrew immediately flew out to Vegas and appeared to be genuinely shaken by what happened. There were a number of people in Vegas who were honestly kind of shocked that Andrew seemed to be more shaken by it than some of the people who worked in Vegas. And a lot of this is because Andrew felt personally responsible for Ovik's death, because if he didn't place him in Vegas, he'd be alone. Andrew would state in an interview with Vox in 2019, quote, "You'd have to be some kind of an asshole to not feel some degree of responsibility." It's from this moment that a lot of kind of the happy-go-lucky attitude of Venture for America would turn very serious, that Andrew would place a lot more focus on ensuring that people were being placed in the right areas and places where they could thrive, and paired with mentors who, you know, wouldn't push people to the brink. Which makes the mega rich, I imagine, is pretty fucking hard.
Right.
Another huge issue came in that Andrew didn't seem interested in really doing the same thing that he was asking entrepreneurs to do. Because rather than set up shop in a needy city, Andrew kept headquarters for Venture for America in downtown Manhattan. And this would lead a lot of community leaders in the venture cities to feel like Venture for America had no interest in learning what their cities really needed, and were more interested in acting as the know-it-all out-of-town saviors.
Yeah, and if your community like Detroit, it's like that's always been the narrative. So you are hyper aware of actual East Coast elites just coming in, dropping a couple brown undergrads, and being like, "Great, you're good. Now you're going to turn it around."
Well, and the other big argument that people had is like, okay, so when these jobs do start showing up and the rate of pay starts going up, how are you going to keep housing affordable? Are you going to make sure gentrification doesn't happen? How are we going to be able to still live in our city?
Oh, real talk.
And finally, those 100,000 jobs that Andrew was aiming for by 2025, well, by 2017, they had created about 3,500 jobs in those 19 cities. And a large number of those jobs would end up not staying. And this is because 48% of the previous venture fellows who began their businesses in their initial cities had moved to New York City, Chicago, LA, and the Silicon Valley shortly after they started.
God damn it.
Now, a number of them would state that this is because they couldn't find the employees they needed in the city to be able to run their organizations and their businesses. I kind of believe that in some regard, but the example that Vox used as one of the successful businesses to come out of this, it's like a vitamin bar, essentially, like a daily vitamin cube. It's wellness bullshit, but yeah, it's essentially a square of roots and bullshit that you take every day as a vitamin supplement, which I kind of get because vitamins aren't as good as they should be. A lot of the stuff that works is taken out of them in the processing.
We're all just chasing the dragon that was Flintstone chewables anyway.
I know, right? I mean, we all try. It's like, you know, none of us want to get side-eyed at the pharmacy when it's very clear, A, you don't have children, and B, you're a grown-ass adult buying
and B,
Flintstone's chewables.
Yeah, and B, those vitamins are gummies.
Yeah, 100%. So I get the purpose behind it, but it's also just some wellness bullshit that's extremely expensive. But also, I feel like it's a company you could run pretty much anywhere. But that company moved to the ritzy parts of Los Angeles and is doing gangbusters.
Sure, because that's also probably where the clientele is.
100%, 100%. But yeah, so essentially the fellows of this program aren't abiding by it because they want to keep their businesses growing.
I feel like the problem was baked into the strategy, which is that you're not going to these cities and finding entrepreneurs who are the community. Yeah. You're bringing them from elite universities, from people who have like nothing to do with, say, St. Louis or Akron, Ohio, or whatever.
Well, and it's the whole thing too of, do you want to do the easy work or the hard work? And you'd have to assume that if someone's going into the Venture for America program, they're looking to do the hard work, which would involve not just recruiting people from other schools, but also figuring out training programs for the local population to be like, hey, we know that this job might be outside of your skill set, but we want to train local folks who live here on how to do this stuff.
We are going to invest in you for the long haul.
Yeah, like, you know, coding is tough, but I feel like 80% of the population could learn it if they were given the time and the money to learn it. If that was their job for a few months, you could learn Python and be able to operate it pretty decently.
Absolutely. Get paid for a decent wage. And if nothing else, is like, you know, pay off some loans and then figure out like what the next step is. But at least you have this background in coding and you've made some connections and all this stuff. But no, instead we just put up signs that are like, no one wants to work today.
Yeah.
So please excuse the fact that we are not open.
Yeah. And so, so the program was definitely not doing great. And Andrew would state during this time that he felt like a complete and total fraud, that, you know, he's going out doing all these TED Talks, that the president of the entire fucking country is talking about how good he's doing. But secretly behind the scenes, he is realizing that he's overestimated the effect that a startup can have on a community of need. That if you're not addressing those basic needs first, it kind of doesn't matter what you're bringing there. So in 2018, Andrew would end up resigning from Venture for America. And this is because, as we all know, our good friend Andrew's running for president. Now, I'm not gonna bore you with the details. We were all there.
We were there.
Andrew ran for president. He ran on universal basic income, the idea that everyone gets $1,000 is it every month or every year? I actually don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was for a month. Like every month you get $1,000.
Exactly. Which, we can make the argument of who should be getting universal basic income, where that money's going to come from, how it helps. I personally think it's a pretty decent idea. It probably needs a bit more test runs and test cases to see how well it works in certain regards. But I think if you're making below living wage, then absolutely universal basic income makes sense.
Yeah, no, I am of the opinion it's like give everyone $1,000 and you just keep taxing the hell out of the rich.
Yeah, and if we can figure out a way to keep inflation from getting absolutely clusterfucked by it, then great. If you can do one and the other, then fuck it. Let's go for it.
Right. If you can keep landlords from jacking up the rent, knowing that everyone is suddenly having an extra $1,000 in their pocket, sure.
I mean, they're a reasonable group. I'm sure they'll.
Oh God. Okay.
So and of course the big thing we all remember about Andrew Yang is the dude had an online presence. Fucking Yang Gang, math, make America think harder, man.
Wow, I missed all of this intentionally, I might add.
Yeah, it's the man knows his way around an internet. It helps that he's a nerd. But yeah, the man was able to cultivate a movement out of pretty much nothing. So that alone is really interesting. But he also earned endorsements from former Congressman Mike Honda, Elon Musk, Jack Dorsey, and Nicolas Cage.
Friends you keep, Andrew.
Dave Chappelle. Ugh. But yeah, a lot of people end up liking him. Dave Chappelle actually did 2 free shows for Andrew in South Carolina to try to get people to vote for him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there was a lot of movement behind Andrew Yang, and maybe with a primary where 28,000 people weren't running at the same time and Joe Biden wasn't there, he might have had a better chance. But
maybe.
Who knows? The man was still very much running on more centrist, moderate Democrat policies. So
yeah, in one of the primary debates, he tried to make a humbling joke about himself, but it just instead came out more of it's clear that my wife is doing all of the work right now and I am not giving her nearly enough respect or realizing that maybe this isn't the best use of my time. There's something about the wording of it where he's clearly trying to get people on board with him. And instead I was just I hate you. You are dead to me now.
I'm going to make a very personal argument for Andrew. So he's very bad at self-deprecation, but I think that comes from a childhood of bullying, because at least as someone who was bullied quite a bit as a child, one of the tacks that I feel like all of us use at one point is maybe if I make a better joke about myself, the bullies will stop. And instead, all you're doing is giving them writing notes. But that's a hard thing to switch out. It's just okay, if I could just change the current thing they're hitting me with something else, maybe that'll be better. Maybe they'll forget. And I think that it's a hard thing to break out of. And that's the kind of energy I get whenever I hear Andrew being self-deprecating.
Fair enough. That's okay. I'll give you that. But I will also counter with my poorly remembered anecdote. I feel also ties into his gender inequality fuckery when he was at Manhattan Press.
Yeah. It's not great. It's one of those
6 eggs, half a dozen, it's just
yeah, you gotta get right with women, man. It's not grand. But yeah, so he ends up getting to the Iowa caucus. He gets 1%, goes on to New Hampshire, gets 2.8%, which leads him to suspend his campaign after the second primary. It was the right thing to do, and it made sense. It was bowing out very gracefully. And then he would take a year off, and then he ran for mayor of New York City in one of the most suburban ways possible.
It was so bad.
He was leading the polls with 35% of the vote when he first entered, and he ended up finishing 4th overall.
Wow.
Between him, the whole bodega video of him being in a Target Express or something like that and being this is my favorite bodega. There's no cat. It's not cramped quarters. I am not seeing products I don't recognize, but know I will love.
It was the kind of campaign that made Michael Bloomberg look human at the end of it. It was just no bueno.
Yeah, well, and his interview with Z-Way was very interesting as well. I had to turn it off at some point just because Z-Way is very good at what she does. I cannot take sustained shame that other people should be feeling, and then I mentally take it myself. But she asked
That's my family. I don't need that in my entertainment.
She asked him the question, what's your favorite subway stop?
And easy. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said Times Square.
Oh.
Yeah. And she was quite incredulous about it. And it's also one of those things where it's I don't know if I could give a proper answer for that here in Chicago. There are some that are pretty, the Wilson stop is beautiful now.
Exactly. You pivot to I don't know any stop that doesn't have any bullshit around it, but I can tell you what the worst stop is. Because anything that makes you sound yes, I in fact take the subway like a normal human.
Yeah.
I am of the people.
Yeah. And it's even the ones that are my least favorite, I don't really remember the names, but it's always the ones where I saw a dude taking a shit on the floor.
Yeah.
But answering Times Square feels like, oh, what's your favorite part of Chicago? Gotta be Navy Pier, man. They got everything you want.
Wrigley feels great. Yeah. What's your favorite book? The Bible.
I really thought you were going to say Kerouac, but... But yeah, so it was...
That really is his answer.
So yeah, Andrew definitely ran the campaign like someone from Westchester who really wanted to be mayor of New York City.
Yeah,
and
really wanted to have a hot dog and a pretzel.
And instead, New York gets a guy from Bergen County who really wants to be mayor of New York City.
Come on, New York.
It's so fun. So yeah, so which brings us to last week and the founding of the Forward Party. So the Forward Party was born on October 5th, 2021 in Rivervale, New Jersey.
Ugh.
I don't know why, but that's where they're based. Members are currently calling themselves Forwardists.
Fuck off.
And the party slogan is not left, not right, forward.
Yeah, this is the Kang and Klang duo from
Kang
The Simpsons. Kang and Kodos, yeah.
So we're going to get into the goals of the party, what they're planning for in the near future for 2022 and 2024. So currently the plan for the party is to kind of operate within kind of the vein of the nonpartisan league / New York state political system, where the party is going to endorse Democrats, Republicans, and independents initially. They might run some of their own candidates on a race-by-race basis, but for the most part, they're going to be throwing their money behind candidates who espouse the values of the Forward Party. And the thing is also, technically, they're not quite a party yet. As of right now, they're a political action committee, and this is because they're waiting for the FEC paperwork to go through.
Fine.
Once the paperwork's through, they're a fucking party.
They're going to throw a party.
But at this time, they're also asking people to please not change their political alliance or their political party because they don't want anyone to be disenfranchised in any of the upcoming primaries.
So then why even announce until the paperwork's there? I'm going to be incredibly cranky about all of this. So
that's fair. I mean, I started getting some rose-colored glasses on a lot of this, so I think a lot of your initial reactions are going to be very helpful in bringing you back to earth.
Doing what I can, Dusty.
Not gonna lie, there's some shit in here I really fucking like. And so we're gonna ride this train together. I'm gonna become a radical centrist, and the podcast is gonna end.
Absolutely not. No, I'm gonna tie you to a chair and slap you.
We're gonna change it from gadfly to the central idea, and we're just constantly gonna bring up things that have been done before but haven't fixed anything, but might fix it now.
We're gonna start going to the Baha'i temple.
Oh, they're so pretty.
It is very pretty, but it's also like, hey, maybe all religions are great and fine. It's like, yeah, all right.
They say there will be an upcoming convention, but one hasn't been announced yet. So, keep your calendar open. Currently, they have no intentions of entering the 2024 presidential race. But if that does get brought up at the convention and enough people want to do it, then they might run a candidate. They will also be accepting Bitcoin as well as cash donations. And the plan for 2022 is to, quote, support a number of candidates in local and statewide races to help them win. And we will support ballot initiatives and campaigns that lead to open primaries and ranked choice voting in states around the country. So next, that brings us to their core values. I'm not going to focus on a lot of these because a lot of them are repeated in their platform, but the core values with a lot of these parties are kind of like mission statements where, it's good for funding and shit, I guess. So the big thing, ranked choice voting and open primaries, fact-based governance, human-centered capitalism, which don't know if that's
oxymoron, but yeah, continue.
Effective and modern government, universal basic income, and the big one, grace and tolerance. Great. Love it. All right. So getting to the platform, this is the real meat and potatoes. This is the shit we're really going to talk about. So going through the platform, they have about a dozen different things on their platform. We're going to start with what they call the American scorecard. So the big issue that they have right now is that the GDP is mainly what we use to decide whether or not the country is succeeding. I didn't know what the GDP was. I figured that's just it's a money. It's how much of money.
Yeah. Certain states have equal GDP to certain other countries.
Yes.
GDP.
Yes. Growing domestic products. Yes. Got it.
Indeed. Things and stuff.
So the GDP is the sum of domestic consumption, domestic investment, government spending, and net exports. So it can be a sign of how well a country is doing, businesses are growing and shit like that. The cons of it, though, is that, say there's a natural disaster, or I don't know, a bunch of them in a row, like a fire, and then a hurricane, and then a fire cane.
And then a virus.
It's going to cause the government to spend more money, which inflates the GDP and makes it look like things are better than they are. And the other problem is that GDP doesn't really give a fuck about work quality or quality of goods. You could be selling a lot of bullshit and your employees could be grossly unhappy. Doesn't matter. You're selling all that fucking shit. Monster Energy is doing goddamn great. Country succeeding, motherfucker. Deal with it. And yeah, it also is very bad at measuring actual happiness, which as of right now, the only country that I'm aware of that has a gross domestic happiness is Bhutan.
Right.
I mean, it's not a bad thing to try to measure to figure out if things are going well. So they don't have a specific algorithm of what they would like to use for the American scorecard, but they do have a list of things that we could use, such as poverty rates, life expectancy, rates of business formation, clean water. Yeah, I don't know what the litmus is for that, but I imagine it's like a parts per million deal.
No lead?
Yeah, no lead. Is there lead? That's 1. No lead?
Yeah.
0.
Yes.
Crime rates, overdose deaths, government efficiency, mental health, income growth and average incomes, affordability, environmental sustainability, recidivism, labor force participation rate, military readiness, which, marriage rates,
Ooh.
quality of infrastructure, rehabilitation rates, civic engagement, and education rates.
We already measure these things. We just don't
We
do it
don't
for
measure them together. We gotta squish them. We gotta mush them into a thing.
No, but it's true. We look at all these like indications, and then we look at the Scandi nations, and we get sad because they're doing so well.
Oh yeah.
And then we go back to not giving a fuck about Brady laws.
Yeah.
And wondering why anything isn't getting better.
You know, that's a really good point, because if there's anyone who really gives a fuck about the GDP, a lot of that is going to be MSNBC or CNBC or like the business focused news channels. And it kind of ends up being pervasive in the media that GDP means something, even if I would hazard to say the vast majority of us don't know or care what it is.
Right.
And so this is really more of it's really more of a marketing change, if anything. It would be cool if we could figure out a happiness index that could be applied worldwide. But I think that also, you know, what creates happiness for one group of folks might be different for a group of other folks.
Exactly. Yeah. And I would say with the scourge of racism, some people's happiness is predicated on the unhappiness of others.
Yeah. And it's, you know, military readiness. How are you going to measure that for a country like Costa Rica that doesn't have a military?
How are you going to measure that when...
That's El Salvador. That's El Salvador. My bad.
Oh, yeah. And how are you going to measure that when like the closing of military bases is probably something we really need to do, but that would also like create ripple effects in other ways. Everything's just so connected.
It really is. So yeah, it's an interesting idea. I think I would be more on board if I had more details. And I will state there is an article from the Jacobin that talks about their dislike of the Forward Party and radical centrism in general. And their main complaint throughout the majority of this is that the platform is too vague to really have an opinion about, that there are some general ideas that are interesting, but it's, you know, give us some solutions.
It also feels like a lot of the answers are, and a lot of radical centrism still comes from this place of just like unbridled capitalism can still be our way out. We just need to like, as you like, remarket it, repackage it, rethink it. And it's like, no, it's still the sickness that is killing a lot of us.
I feel like if we were going to be able to have human-centered capitalism, we would have done it fine. But going through the Industrial Revolution, plenty of examples about how, you know, capitalism was never human-centered then. We can look at our time now of the various things going on at Nabisco, where it's like you're seeing all these companies that have been forcing people into 60, 80-hour work weeks during a time where, you know, this should have been something that we fixed in 1920.
Yeah.
It's very clear that a lot of these major companies aren't interested in human-centered capitalism because it's going to hurt their bottom line. It's not going to make them go out of business, but it's, you know, that third yacht's really important. And yeah, if we were going to do human-centered capitalism, we got to do a lot of work to make, even before we get to that point, for it to be a possibility.
There's always this rosy glow around the Nordic countries and certain parts of the EU where it seems like they have human-centered capitalism figured out and, you know, a much higher like happiness ranking. And it's like, what they tax people and they tax companies. It's like what we just have is like a lot of corporate welfare and unhinged capitalism.
Yeah, it's something that's going to require a fuck ton of regulation. And with the Forward Party, the goal absolutely seems to be a meeting place for folks of all political ideologies to come together and fix things. And I think just even bringing up the idea of business regulation is going to really shut down a large portion of that potential, what's the word I'm looking for? Congress, grouping together, whatever.
Collective, that's
the word. Really shut down the building of that collective. Anyway, term limits. You know, I like term limits. They're a good time. So what the Forward Party wants to do is create a constitutional amendment to limit individuals to 18 years of service in either chamber of Congress. So in an ideal world, you could serve 6 terms in the House and then 3 terms in the Senate, equaling a potential total of 36 years in Congress.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. It's a little higher than I've seen most people who pitch term limits, but I think that's also, it's a really good balance of being able to maintain generational knowledge.
Yes.
While being able to not make it a full-time career.
And I find with a lot of the like knee-jerk reactions for shorter term limits to not realize the fact that it's like you do need someone to oversee like longer haul plans. Like, you know, if someone is aggressively after better healthcare, it's like that is an iceberg that you are slowly chipping. Like we only see the vote at the end. We don't see like the millions of little talks and deals and bargains and all of that stuff and just constant repetitive like going after a program.
Yeah, so I think that's something we would both support. I'm keeping track of this, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, I'm okay. All right, fine. Term limits, great. Next.
Ranked choice voting and open primaries. primaries. So for those of you in America, because I imagine this is something that's pretty common across Europe, the idea behind ranked choice voting is you get an entire ballot, and instead of just voting for one person, you rank every single candidate from one to however many number of candidates there are. When the numbers come in, if no one gets 50% of the vote, the lowest vote getter gets taken out, and then the number 2 choice from everyone who voted for that person who got taken off the ballot then gets reallocated to everyone else, and that happens to the person getting the least number of votes until someone gets 50% of the vote.
Yeah, I'm in favor of it.
I love it. It's, the only complaint is, it does take a while for those numbers to work out. The New York City mayoral election is a pretty good example of a number of kinks that need to get fixed before that's a thing. Maine seems to be working pretty good with it, though. So.
Oh, but they're maniacs.
Oh my God. Try the veal.
I'm here all night.
Damn it. And yeah, so the thing that I think really kind of changes this, though, is that this isn't a one or the other thing for the party. They want ranked choice voting and open primaries. And open primaries are what California and Washington do, where instead of there being specific major party primaries and then a general election, every single candidate runs on the primary ballot to begin with. So in California, you might have 3 Democrats, 2 Republicans, a Green Party person, and an independent, all running on the same ballot. No state as of right now combines both of those things. But in California, it's definitely created some really interesting elections.
Yeah.
You'll get, 2 Democrats moving on to the primary, 2 Republicans. In 2016, there was a primary where a Democrat and a Green Party candidate made it through, where it does end up giving a lot better chance for third-party candidates to be able to break through, especially in areas where Republicans might not be running or where Democrats might not be running. And I think if you combine the two, it really does give a lot better opportunity and a lot more visibility for third-party politics in America, and really evens the playing field, or at least starts to even it in a small way. The only downside is I could not imagine a ranked choice primary with the last gubernatorial election where it's like, oh, there's 52 candidates. Rank them.
Oh, God. Can't we just do top 5?
You can. That was pretty common in New York. If I remember right, there was a percentage of people who voted for 2 candidates and that was it. But knowing me, I'd be like, I'm ranking all 52.
Oh, sure. You'd make a day of it.
I'm taking this paid lunch and I'm living my
Yes, it is my right as a voting American.
Hey, the pen's out of ink and I'm halfway through.
I need a new pen.
Well, and I like the fact that it also it incentivizes people to become more involved in how many candidates are running. You might be able to find some more folks you enjoy in other parties. I don't know. It's going to be hard for folks to talk me out of ranked choice voting and open primaries as a thing together. Other than the fact that, it's going to take more time to figure out who wins, and it might be a little more expensive. Yeah. I mean, that's a good argument for me. Yeah. It's all right. Ranked choice voting and open primaries. Yay or nay?
Done. Yay. You sold me.
All right. I hate to break this to you. Currently, we are 2-1 on the Una. You might be a forwardist.
I absolutely am not. We'll get to why after. Continue with the list.
Independent redistricting commissions. This one's really simple. It would essentially make gerrymandering and district packing illegal, and every single state would have to use an independent commission every time that districts would need to be redrawn. The problem that comes with this, though, is how do you make a truly independent commission?
Right. Yes.
Especially when things are as polarized as they are right now. You need to have an odd number of people probably on these commissions, just make sure shit doesn't stall. But then again, I think an even number would probably be a good way for folks to be forced into compromise.
I think any recognition of the fact that, people are not by nature pure and neutral. Mm-hmm. So what gets combated from that angle?
Here's what we're going to do. We are going to find 20 people in Illinois who have never voted and do not watch the news. We're going to give them a map of the state and tell them to draw 17 districts.
No, I'm not giving them power. Are you out of your mind?
All right, let's compromise them. Let's get to the center from Yeah, it's really tough, but I mean, it's better than gerrymandering. It's better than district packing, and it'd be nice if potentially every district was competitive, but who knows? So how are we feeling on independent redistricting commissions?
I mean, it's just one of those, fucking duh. I don't feel like this is new. Yeah. I feel like it's just grabbed from the Democrats, frankly. Yeah.
And I think for me, since there's so little information, I kind of rank it in the maybe of the American scorecard where it's come back with a second draft and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to data as a property right. So this one has a bit more meat to it, where they want to create a digital bill of rights to dictate how companies can use, collect, and store data of people. They also would like to make companies pay a dividend from their profits that they make from selling data to the people whose data they collected. I don't know how much money that would be, and it might make people a lot more open to sharing more information than they should.
Yeah.
But they would also like to limit the uses of data and make clients entirely aware of what information is being collected, how it will be used, and how they could get companies to no longer own their data. So they're looking a lot more of like the European style of internet privacy that popped up in, I think, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
2019. The Digital Bill of Rights is not on their website yet. I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer of what should have been there to begin with, but I imagine you probably also have to have a convention to make that.
I mean, yeah, again, it's just like a fucking duh. I don't know. Here's what I will say. I appreciate this being its own line in their manifesto because it's just a nice reminder of the change that is coming as we hopefully eventually see more millennials and Gen Zers get into governance.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is what matters to us. Actually, this is our daily life, is that we have no online privacy at all whatsoever.
And now we have like fucking Richard Blumenthal, if I'm remembering correctly, asking Instagram if they will remove the Finsta feature.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. We're like anytime we can like actually debate in real time of real issues concerning the internet and its effects and move away from that horrid moment where a congressperson started talking about the internet tubes.
Yeah, Don Young, who's still a congressman.
Yes, as if it was just like a pneumatic vault, just like whizzing things back and forth.
I mean, if you're explaining it to the convalescent center of how the internet work, sure. It's a series of tubes. You shove an email through it. You get a
right.
Sure.
Right, yes.
But not on the floor of fucking Congress.
Right. It's like, yeah, let's actually fine. Let's talk about, do I think this makes the most sense? I don't know, because I've still been in Boomerland where every verb is to download. It doesn't matter what you're doing, you're downloading.
100%. And look, I could just clone Ron Wyden repeatedly, the Senate's only internet expert. But yeah, I think this does speak to a bigger problem of just needing more tech familiar people within Congress as of right now. And a lot of that's just kind of waiting for the new generation to finally be, quote, allowed to take their turn.
Yes.
I mean, we talk a lot about the Democratic Party here, and I'm sure this is on both parties as well. But yeah, when the powers that be in both parties are just obsessed with the idea of getting in line, it makes it very difficult for this sort of shit to happen. But yeah, I kind of have to give this a maybe. I need more information. I mean, I fuck with a lot of what they're saying. It's just I need more details.
Right. And it has the verbiage of something that sounds good on its face. And then the more you read, the more you realize it's like, this is just slapping an extra coat of paint on something rather than actually like removing the multiple coats of paint and getting down to the actual wood, like the actual problem.
Absolutely. All right. So more information, maybe?
Yeah. Come, like, shake the 8-ball. It says come back later.
All right. Then we move on to Stop the DC Revolving Door. This particular plank is about banning legislators and anyone who works at a regulatory agency from lobbying for a period of time after they leave office. And the way to kind of make them comfortable with this is Andrew would like to increase the salaries for legislators and workers of regulatory agencies to make up for the financial loss of not immediately being able to work for a lobbying firm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of the congresspersons already make so much fucking money.
Yeah.
And come from so much fucking money.
Well, and on top of that, they would also like to offer stipends to these people to encourage them to work in the public sector.
No. We don't need the business world terminology.
But money on money. We're going to pay you more money for your job, and you're going to get a stipend.
Oh, you're going to get a bonus at the end of the year, public servant. No, just fucking pay them. Yeah, just pay them.
I'm going to give you not a dick back bonus.
Also, is he so who exactly is this targeting? Because I'm assuming it's not, representatives and actual congressmen. Oh.
Congressmen, senators, anyone who works at a regulatory agency like the FDA or the EPA, things like that.
Yeah, I don't know if paying them more is going to actually solve the problem.
Yeah, it's to really bastardize Jurassic Park, corruption finds a way.
Yeah.
Find another way to fucking do this.
It is one of those things where the people who really need to be affected by this are the people with evil in their heart. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes more effective. Just put a 10-year moratorium and then huge fines, huge fines, and then actually fine them, punitive measures, not, positive measures.
Yeah, I think a 10-year moratorium is a worthy compromise. I would go as far as to say, just don't let them work for lobbying firms. Just make that an illegal job that you can hold if you've been a congressman or a senator.
Right. Yeah. It's some kind of FEC. And also it's can we just go after the lobbyists? Can we just get to the root of the problem?
Potentially, yeah. And I mean, and now that I say it out loud, banning someone from being able to have a job just because they have a different job, I could see that being a constitutional issue that might end up in courts.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So we haven't solved it either. Fine. Moving on. Next.
Yeah, I think giving them more money though is not a good idea. So I'm gonna vote no on this one just because it's not. I don't think it's the right plan.
Agreed. No, give me more money. Fuck this.
We're moving on to the Citizens Portal. Doodaloo, doodaloo, doodaloo. So the Citizens Portal would create a federally run website where citizens could apply for benefits, see tax information, renew licenses, fill out the census, register to vote, and get updates on what's happening in Congress.
I'm in favor of this, but it does not go far enough. No, I love it. Andrew Yang, why are you assuming everyone has internet service? Why do you assume everyone can afford Wi-Fi in their home? Who among us doesn't have a computer and who actually really needs these services the most?
On top of that, this absolutely needs to be a mobile compatible website because a large number of people use their phone as their primary computer.
Exactly. Yeah. If anything, it needs to start mobily and then move to a desktop.
Yeah. And this is definitely one of their planks that they admit is probably going to be the hardest to accomplish, predominantly because each and every state operates their websites completely differently.
If anything, I think this should be the fire lit under their ass. Like this should be part of the infrastructure bill, is because we have 50 garbage websites, 50 individual garbage websites, and then that doesn't even get into cities, districts, all that shit.
I mean, Una, to be fair, the Illinois Department of Human Services website is worse than garbage. It's pretty much like if you ask GeoCities to have responsibility.
Oh, are you talking to me like I haven't been unemployed before in this state? Dusty, yeah. How dare?
No. I don't want to lump in that trash fire of bullshit with anything that New Jersey or New York has done on their websites. At least New York has an occasional JPEG. They at least update their information on occasion. I don't think the Illinois Department of Human Services has updated their website since dial-up stopped being a thing.
Yeah, I would bike to the office down on Lawrence and go in person to the unemployment office because it was better than going onto their website.
Infinitely easy. Oh my God. My personal favorite is how the Illinois Department of Human Services website doesn't always list the address of where you're looking.
Oh my God.
Chef's kiss. Oh, like you could have one person fix that thing in a month and they'll never fucking do it. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm mostly for the idea of the Citizens Portal, but they do make a really good point that getting all 50 states to agree with what should be in it is going to be difficult, but also figuring out a way to get all 50 states different ways of doing things like SNAP and WIC and driver's licenses and TANF and all the other different public policies and things like that. It's gonna be a huge lift. So I get why it doesn't go super far, but I think you make a really good point that it should go farther if they can get it to work.
I mean, this touches on my big thing, which is that the internet should be a public utility like water or electricity. Done. That's it. Instead, I pay $100 to RNC so that I can look at you weekly on a Zoom call.
So Citizens Portal, yay or nay?
Nay.
That's a nay.
Get it together.
All right.
Nay, only because it's just like I think it's good and it's just so half baked and I'm unhappy.
Yeah, so almost all of this platform so far has come back with a second draft.
Yes. See me after class.
Okay. All right. We're in the back end. Create a Department of Technology. Create a new cabinet level department to, quote, take on regulatory powers over the technology sector and ensure that other departments have the technological know-how to operate. Push Congress to reopen the Office of Technology Assessment, which apparently was the thing that was there to help congressmen and senators learn how to internet, and it got shut down during the Trump administration.
No shit. Wow.
Increase pay in these departments so that they can be competitive with the private sector. So you're actually getting like the best experts to walk, I don't know, Tom Coburn through how to use an internet.
How to email a PDF.
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough money in the world.
No, I don't. I wouldn't wish that job on anyone, but it's got to be done. Yeah, I don't know. That feels like something another department would already be doing.
It's one of those things where it's, again, sounds great on its face, but because technology moves so quickly, it's just like, why are we going to burden this with a department? Like, this is actually where I would argue that like there's going to be bureaucratic bloat. And how is this department going to run in 20 years? Sure, you're giving people the money. You should be giving people like competitive salaries across the board in any department. And I'm fully in favor, especially with like Department of Technology, to keep everyone abreast of like technology situations. But yeah.
Also, I got the date wrong on when it was shut down. It was shut down in 1994 by the Clinton administration.
Oof.
Congress withdrew the funding back then.
Because what do they need to know about the internet? They got an AOL account. What could have been?
I've been getting CDs from AOL. I clearly know how to internet. All right, yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like that's something the Department of Commerce would probably handle, or I think creating a whole new department for technology, I don't think is the right way to go.
Yeah, it just feels a little like brutalist architecture heavy. Like, the way technology exists now, it exists in every department anyway. It's in the ether.
Automatic tax filing. So this is a big one because the IRS for years has had the technology to just do everyone's taxes for them and then just send you either a check or a bill. And the reason they haven't been doing that is companies like TurboTax have consistently lobbied that they not be allowed to do that.
Fuck TurboTax. I am for this item.
Agreed. Very
100%.
So yeah, so it passed legislation to allow the IRS to automatically do everyone's taxes, increase IRS budget to find people who are dodging their taxes, make April 15th Revenue Day, a holiday highlighting the work done by civil servants.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the one I really like. Allow taxpayers the ability to direct 1% of their taxes to whatever department or bureau they wish.
Ooh.
I wish that percent was higher, but I like that. I really like the idea of being able to control where my taxes go.
Yeah. Drugs, guns, and alcohol. Am I right?
No,
yeah. Tobacco and firearms.
Damn it. Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine with giving the National Endowment for the Arts some money. I'd probably end up doubling their budget.
100%. Oh my God. You now have $20.
I know, right? Don't spend it all on one site-specific play. Yeah, I mean,
Department of Interiors. Here you go. Here's $50.
It's like I love everything about this. I think it's a very well-baked idea based on studies that have already been done with facts we already know. This is like simple shit.
Yep.
Not
yep.
like
And
April 15th being a day that maybe all civil servants get off. That if you're working, you get to have the day off before shit gets crazy.
They deserve it. No, absolutely. And it's very easy to like this because you know the people who will not like this item are bad people.
I mean, look, I will say this. I know a lot of folks have opinions about the IRS and a lot of opinions about taxes, and I think that's probably a pretty huge millennial Zoomer shift. I can give a fuck about taxes, man. As long as the money's going to fix shit and help people,
exactly. Yep.
I know it's going somewhere, and I know it's benefiting me in the end.
Yes, I am fine with my taxes going towards school systems in Chicago, even if I don't have kids.
100%. So yeah, I mean, I would love to boost that 1% up higher, especially if you can decide that 1% while you're filling out your tax information at whatever job you work, just so at least then your paycheck percentage is going somewhere and not just whatever your is.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Any way I can divert that money away from the military, that's all I want.
Fucking agreed. So yeah, I think that would be amazing. And I think it would be really eye-opening to Congress to see where people want their money to go.
That's another great thing. Yes. Then suddenly you have a data set of people suddenly giving money to the National Endowment of the Arts. Maybe we should give a shit about the arts.
Yeah. And also suddenly you now have people learning more about the federal government, the various bureaus and what they do. It's so much better.
Yeah.
Cool. So I vote big yes on automatic tax filing and everything underneath.
Huge yes.
Democracy dollars. This is really simple.
Fuck out of here.
Hard to set you up just to knock you down. So this would give every registered voter $100 to donate to whatever candidate they wished each election season.
No, just give me the $100.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. No, less money to candidates.
I would be fine with this if the thing that came with it was candidates were not allowed to fundraise.
Yes, if candidates could get no other money except the $100 democracy dollars.
Yeah.
My problem with it is it feels so much like a parent giving a kid a 20 at an amusement park. You know, it's just there's something really paternalistic about it.
Yeah, it's especially if you're giving someone $100 who really needs that money for gas or food or shelter. It's really kind of fucky.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm voting a big no on democracy dollars.
Big no. If I can't spend it on freedom fries, you can get the fuck out of here.
The American exchange program. So you know how, there's foreign exchange students, like you can go to Paris, live with the family, learn some halfway shitty French, and then come home and brag to your friends about how American crepes aren't as good as Parisian crepes.
Yeah, I may have been that kid, whatever.
Well, Andrew wants to make that more domestic. City folks know nothing about country life. Country folks, they might know not much about the city. So we're going to take some kid from Beverly Hills, take him to like fucking Morgantown, West Virginia. Congratulations, exchange program.
No, fuck this. This is a rich kid idea that's being implemented. Absolutely not. Also, I mean, that's something that's already happening at a local level. If you would just get the fuck out of Fi-Dye Manhattan, Andrew.
That's an extremely good point. That is,
my hood, my block, my city does that. Yeah. And they're fantastic.
They're wonderful.
But they're locally based in the South Side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely kind of reeks of that whole thing of just like, if you live in a specific part of America, you're fundamentally different.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we do have different cultures, different backgrounds, different histories. And, someone who's grown up in Dallas might have a completely different experience in life than someone who's lived in Chicago or in Appalachia and all that. But I think the bigger thing that this is kind of getting at is classism. And maybe if we could learn a bit more about classism on a local basis, we could then move on to maybe regional differences.
Yep.
So yeah, that's also I'm going to put a big no on that. Civic juries. So, civic jury is that policy polling can be a bit tough and a bit hard to figure out. So, Quinnipiac or Rasmussen are going to call up a bunch of folks when they're having dinner. They'll get hung up on by a bunch of folks. Some folks will answer the questions and go through all of that. Either which way, you're getting a small sample, and it's kind of hard to tell what the actual percentage is of whether someone supports something or not. So, the idea behind a civic jury is that you bring together a large group of people to be able to vote on this stuff on a regular basis. And apparently, this is something that has occurred in Iceland, Ireland, and Mongolia on specific policy issues.
Well, based on that, then it sounds like it might be doable at the local level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Iceland and Ireland, wonderful places, a little bit smaller than America.
A little bit smaller, demographically, a little bit differently,
yeah.
Depending on where you are.
And I might be full of shit on this one, but I think the civic jury idea was used specifically for abortion rights in Ireland when that was a big thing. Just because, it was such a huge thing to vote on. I think they were wanting to get better numbers in general, but I also don't really know what purpose it fills.
Okay, great. Because I was wondering, as you started off with the civic jury and describing it, I was just like, who the fuck cares? Why do we care? What is needed by this?
Because it's, majority hasn't always been morally correct in this country, and I would be a little worried about letting a majority kind of dictate where things should go.
Also, if we're talking about, I don't know, I just feel like lately I've been reading how 70% of Americans are actually for abortion, and actually larger and larger numbers are for LGBTQ rights and recognitions. And so it's like, a civic jury isn't going to suddenly break the bottleneck between what people want and the laws that need to be enacted. It's the people who are ending up in Congress.
Yeah, it's a very short bridge between fake polls and fake juries.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm voting a no.
Boo.
All right, we're on our final one.
Okay.
And secure voting. Make all states integrate early voting and mail-in ballots and end the practice of signature matching at polls.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. That's easy enough. All right. Yeah. Done and done. Great. All right, Una, let's go through this. I'm going to count the numbers.
Okay.
Of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 planks in the forward party platform. There are 5 that we are hard no's. There are 4 that we are hard yeses, leaving 6. 6 platforms where we're like, fucking do this again. See me after class. You can do better. We want details.
It's like the pie chart of how the non-voters are always outweigh any specific party voters.
Yeah.
Radical centrism.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah, it's pretty much, for radical centrism, this is actually for us being a pair of progressive-ish folks. Yeah, you hit the third. Congratulations.
You hit the third rail.
Yeah, there's definitely stuff I really fucking love about this. It almost all falls under tax filing, which who the fuck saw that coming?
Not me.
Yeah, there's some cool ideas here, but yeah, there's too much stuff here that's too vague that I really want to see fleshed out. And maybe then we'll form a different opinion on it, but yeah.
And overall, the vibe of these planks seems geared towards I don't want to say tech awareness, but a mentality that comes from a certain socioeconomic strata.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
The fact of just a really great website that works for all of these social services. I'm right, but you're forgetting how people use the internet.
Cool. So I think that leaves us with one final thing we kind of have to talk about is Andrew has been...
Dumb name?
You haven't even seen the logo. The logo's not good.
All I can think of is Hillary's logo. So continue.
But yeah, Andrew's been going on a bit of a media blitz since this started. He's been on the Young Turks. He just did an interview with Sam Harris yesterday. He went to Comic-Con in New York City to kind of do some fun pictures. But the big one everyone's talking about is he did go on Tucker Carlson's website only show. So Jim Acosta on CNN would essentially tell Andrew that Tucker Carlson is objectively a bad person.
Yeah.
So why talk to a guy who espouses white nationalist points? But the other thing he brought up is the fact that Tucker Carlson had positive things to say about the Unabomber's Manifesto, which, look, this is going to be a great moment. Yeah. In these episodes, we've talked about the Unabomber's Manifesto and how multiple people actually say it makes sense despite the fact that he's a dude who murdered people. So it really sucks to have to be Tucker Carlson's not alone on this. And I don't want to defend Tucker Carlson and the Unabomber in the same fucking sentence.
You're walking a fine line, Dusty.
Thank you, my radar, for blocking out any judgment of me defending Tucker Carlson and the Unabomber in the same sentence. But yeah, so Jim Acosta would be like, "What the fuck, Andrew?" To which Andrew said, quote, "One of the things we have to do, Jim, is to try to take the temperature of the country down. And the only way to do that is to reach out to as many people where they are. As Tucker commands a massive audience. And if you wanted to try to build a unifying popular movement that does call attention to the fact that our system is not working really for anyone, you have to, again, reach out. And that's what I was doing on the show. Which leads me to, I think, the biggest problem going forward for Andrew is that if he is, say, courting audience members of the Young Turks, and Tucker Carlson and Sam Harris and Comic-Con nerds. How the fuck are you going to control that group?
Yeah, no, good luck, buddy.
I understand that, like, yeah, polarization is a huge issue right now. But I think it's also kind of gotten a little fucked up in both sidesisms, where it's like, yeah, the one side on the left, like, yeah, we're learning how to be better to people, and we're trying to figure out better ways to be more accommodating to folks who have not been accommodated for in the past. And, you know, we're cancel culture, which isn't a real fucking thing, but we're calling out people to be like, hey, we don't want to support you. And yeah, you're going to take a dip in your numbers, but you're still going to earn a living from shitheads, because, you know, shithead economy is always a fucking thing. But on the other side is literal fucking fascists.
Right. It's like Tucker Carlson is a white nationalist dog whistle. That's it, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's for someone who made such a thing out of breaking up with the Democratic Party the same week. It's like you're doing a lot of the things that we yell at the Democratic Party for, which is courting people who will never vote for you while ignoring minorities. Who could?
Yeah, I mean, just looking through the platform of the Forward Party, I could absolutely see Tucker's audience being a fan of term limits, probably maybe data as a property right, depending on how you kind of swing that. Lobbying, I could see that being a thing they would support. That might be about it, though. I mean, the 1/3. But it's really hard to build a coalition where everyone coming into it supports 1/3 of the idea. I think he is going to have a pretty solid group of folks who are 100% for all these things. I don't know if it's really going to translate into any sort of long-term success that can hold.
And again, I just want to get back to how dumb the name sounds.
Yeah.
Because really, like,
at least original. No one else has done the Forward Party yet.
Try to imagine in 30 years' time when, I don't know, like the Republican Party doesn't exist anymore, and we're staring down the ballot on old paper machines because that's what we've been reduced to. And it's probably the Libertarian Party, the Democratic Party, and the Forward Party. I don't know. It doesn't have gravitas. It doesn't have any, like, it feels like a single issue party when I hear that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think in a number of ways, it kind of does feel that way. It's a very upper middle class tech centric party, which, I mean, makes sense knowing where Andrew comes from in life.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one thing that might end up pushing him and his party over the edge. So Andrew has been going out there courting various alliances. Marianne Williamson has joined him on a couple of speaking engagements, which I know I said this on Twitter a few weeks ago. Definitely listen to the Marianne Williamson episode on maintenance phase. Wonderful podcast about the
Yes.
That episode is gorgeously good.
Yeah, seconding that.
Andrew has also gone down to Texas to talk to the chairman of the Serve America Movement Party, or the SAM Party, which mostly just has a presence in New York and really hasn't done things one way or the other, but it looks like they might end up forming an alliance. But the big move that Andrew had is he might have caught the attention of potential gubernatorial candidate Matthew McConaughey.
Oh my God. Well, of course. They're both bros.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And honestly, I think it would actually be the best move for Matthew going forward. The Texas Democrat Party is a clusterfuck. If a mistake is there to be made, they will make it.
Oh.
And I don't think they're very well prepared to go toe-to-toe with either Jim Abbott or whatever MAGA enthusiast they get to replace him on the ballot.
Yeah, you really need someone.
Yeah, and like McConaughey's politics are kind of a lot more independent than Democrat or Republican. He has some left-leaning ideas. He has some right-leaning ideas. He has some problematic opinions, mostly in the regards to using indigenous communities for sports teams and how that's a total thing.
Oh, man. Here, I just thought he was all right.
I'm going to eat this microphone. But yeah, I think it would probably be the best way for him to be able to run his campaign 100% as he wants, while also getting at least some national support from a group that's definitively going to get money from the various folks who are already espousing support, but which are typically Apple and Google executives.
Right. Yep.
So if Matthew decides to run as a candidate of the Forward Party in this particular election, I think he might have a shot.
Damn. I think I agree.
Yeah, so that's what we know about the Forward Party as of right now. So Una, can I expect your contribution to
No. You can take these Democratic dollars and shove it.
Yeah, I kind of figured we were going to go pretty hard on this. It did surprise me what percentage of it we did end up being like, yeah, this is fucking great. Let's do this.
Yeah.
A lot better than I think we've had with a number of other parties that we've talked about. But
this is true. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's some good shit to talk about here. If it ends up in the zeitgeist to discuss these things and some of this stuff gets fleshed out, it has the potential to do some really cool stuff. But I mean, everyone who listens knows this. Radical centrism isn't exactly our bag. It kind of feels like a joke in the current neo-fascist environment that we're currently currently floating in.
Don't serve me gruel with sprinkles on top.
It's like while fascism is taking a halftime break in the corner while everyone else is telling us that, hey, Biden's president, we're good forever now. That's kind of the feeling I get from radical centrism, where people are just ready to move on.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're comfortable.
I'm glad your friends are safe. Great. Well, I mean, that being said, definitely check out the Forward Party website. It is at forwardparty.com. See if you like it. See if you don't, I'm interested to see if it actually does become a party and who they end up endorsing. And from there, we could probably build out better ideas. But yeah, I mean...
And maybe they'll hire us.
Oh my God. Yeah. I was debating whether or not to at them when this episode comes up. I don't know if that's a good or a bad idea, but...
We absolutely should. If I can get recognition for just being a dumb ass, I will have made it.
And when the Forward Party is ruling America in 2025, they can say they told us so.
Oh, I'll have absconced to, I don't know, my own micronation.
Oh God. Well, I mean, that is the next script. And on that note, everyone, thank you so much for joining us on this extra long episode of Gadfly. Next week for a spooky...
Yay! Yay!
Radical centrism. Gadfly is a production of Added Serotonin. Our episodes are edited by Brianna Valentine of Rem Alternus Productions. Our theme song is Sophomore Makeout by Silent Partner, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at GadflyPod.
Ready to level up your cosplay game? Check out the Geek Forge on Etsy. With a variety of props to give your photos that extra spark, you'll find just what you need. Hold magical fire in the palm of your hand, or take a potion to restore your mana. With a large variety of colors, you can choose your own magical flavor for your cosplay. Bring drama to your photo shoots with these vibrant props and more, all available at the Geek Forge. Are you ready to level up your cosplay?